Most people think trust in dogs looks like excitement, affection, or constant attention, because those are the behaviors that are easiest to recognize and respond to. But the deepest forms of trust are much quieter than that, showing up in moments where nothing is being asked and yet everything about the relationship is already understood. The first place this shows up is not in action, but in stillness, particularly in how your dog rests around you when there is no reason to stay alert. A dog that trusts deeply does not remain partially switched on, watching every movement or reacting to every small change, because your presence has already answered the question of safety. That kind of rest is not just physical, even though it looks like your dog is simply lying down or relaxing in your space. It is neurological, meaning the brain has stopped scanning for potential changes because experience has taught it that nothing unpredictable follows your behavior. The second sign becomes visible in attention, but not the kind of attention most people think about when they picture engagement. Instead of intense focus driven by commands or rewards, this attention appears in quiet moments where your dog looks at you without needing anything in return. That look is steady without being intense, present without being demanding, and it exists without urgency because it is not driven by anticipation. It reflects a state where your dog is connected to you without needing to extract anything from the interaction. The third sign appears after uncertainty, particularly in moments where something slightly unclear has just happened between you and your dog. Instead of creating distance or disengaging, a dog that trusts you will move back toward you, even when the situation wasn't perfectly predictable. That return is not about obedience or correction, because it happens before any command is given. It happens because the relationship itself feels stable enough that your dog does not need to protect itself from confusion. The fourth sign becomes clearer when you watch how your dog moves around you in shared space, especially in environments where there is room for unpredictability. A dog that trusts deeply does not constantly adjust, hesitate, or reposition in response to your movement, because your behavior has already become something they can anticipate. This creates a kind of fluid movement where your dog flows around you rather than reacting to you, and that flow only exists when there is enough consistency for the brain to stop recalculating. Without that consistency, movement becomes cautious, but with it, movement becomes natural. The fifth sign is the one that almost no one notices, because it doesn't look like a behavior at all. It shows up as the absence of hesitation in moments where hesitation would normally appear, especially when your dog is about to respond to something you've done. There is no pause, no delay, no visible evaluation before the action begins, because the outcome has already been predicted with enough certainty. And when prediction is strong enough, the brain removes the need to think, allowing behavior to happen instantly and without friction. This is where trust becomes visible in its purest form, not as excitement or attachment, but as the removal of doubt. Because when a dog no longer needs to question what will happen next, their behavior becomes smooth, immediate, and completely aligned with you. And that alignment is not forced, trained, or maintained through pressure. It is built over time through consistency, clarity, and repeated experiences that never contradict what your dog has learned to expect from you. Because once you understand what deep trust looks like, the absence of it becomes much easier to recognize, and that's where most people begin to see what was missing all along. The same moments that should feel calm, fluid, and certain instead feel slightly tense, slightly delayed, or slightly inconsistent in ways that are difficult to explain. You may notice your dog resting near you, but not fully relaxing, keeping part of their attention on the environment instead of releasing into the moment. That partial awareness is a sign that the brain is still monitoring for unpredictability, which means the sense of safety is not complete. In attention, the difference becomes even clearer, because instead of quiet, effortless connection, the focus often feels tied to expectation. Your dog looks at you when they want something, when they anticipate something, or when they are trying to understand what happens next, rather than simply being present with you. That shift turns attention into a transaction rather than a connection. After uncertainty, the gap becomes more noticeable, especially in how your dog responds when something is unclear or slightly inconsistent. Instead of moving back toward you naturally, there may be a moment of distance, hesitation, or even disengagement before they reconnect. That hesitation is not rejection, but it does show that the relationship is not carrying enough certainty to override doubt immediately. Movement begins to change as well, particularly in shared spaces where your dog should be able to move fluidly around you. Instead of flowing naturally, there are small adjustments, pauses, or repositioning behaviors that suggest your dog is still tracking and recalculating your actions. That constant recalculation adds friction to movement, and over time, that friction becomes the default. And finally, hesitation becomes visible in moments where there should be none, especially when your dog is about to respond to something familiar. Instead of immediate action, there is a brief pause, a check, or a delay that wasn't there before. That pause is where uncertainty lives. And once uncertainty becomes part of the interaction, even in small ways, it changes how your dog experiences every signal you give. Because trust is not built on what you intend, but on what your dog has learned to expect.